The unit had been sealed for 11 years. That's what the system said. No access entries, no maintenance flags, no record of anyone standing in front of that door since the original rental. Climate-controlled, prepaid in full, assigned to a name that returned nothing when I searched it. No phone, no address, no digital footprint of any kind. Daniel Harrow. 14 months on night shift, and I'd never had a reason to look twice at Unit 119. Then I heard the crying. 2:14 a.m. I know because I checked the camera feed the moment it reached me. Reflex, not protocol. The hallway outside the unit was empty. The sound wasn't. High, rhythmic, exhausted. Not distress anymore, just persistence. The kind of crying that has forgotten what it's asking for. I tried my supervisor. No answer. Policy required authorization to open a sealed unit. Policy also had an emergency clause. Person in distress, immediate risk. I read that clause so many times in the following weeks that I can feel the texture of the page. I wasn't wrong to use it. I need that to be clear. I took the master key and walked. Hallway C was cold in the specific way old buildings get cold. Not from outside, but from somewhere internal, the structure exhaling something it had been holding for years. The fluorescent above Unit 119 moved in a slow pulse, not a flicker, slower than that. In, out, in, the rhythm of something breathing. I stopped at the door. The crying had a shape now, almost a pattern, almost deliberate, a melody with the notes removed, just the movement of it remaining. My hand found the lock. The key turned before I completed the motion. The door swung open from the inside. The smell was chemical, not biological. I cataloged that immediately because decay was what I had braced for, and this wasn't decay. It was older than that, closer to a darkroom, developer fluid and arrested time, and the specific stillness of a place where things are made permanent against their will. I pushed the door fully open. Photographs covered everything. Floor, walls, ceiling, not mounted, not framed, layered over each other in a density that suggested years. The same image repeated hundreds of times. A hallway, a fluorescent light mid-pulse, a door at the far end slightly open. My hallway, my door. At the back of the unit, a chair. On the chair, a manila folder and a phone, old model, physical keypad, screen lit with a single unsent message. You opened it. Check the date on the rental agreement. I pulled the records on my phone. Unit 119, rented 11 years ago. My signature on the agreement. Not something close, not a forgery built from public records. My signature, the collapsed middle letters, the early lift at the end of the stroke, the specific habit a third-grade teacher failed to correct. My signature on a document created a decade before I applied for this job. I opened the folder. One photograph inside, different from the others, newer stock, slightly glossy. It showed this unit, this chair, this folder, a figure in the doorway holding a flashlight, tilted left, right shoulder compensating for an injury sustained in a car accident in 2019. No camera in the unit. No camera has ever been installed in Unit 119. I set the photograph down and stood still for a moment, the kind of still that happens before the mind catches up with what the eyes have already understood. Then I turned toward the hallway. The fluorescent above me stopped pulsing, suddenly, completely, as though it had been waiting for me to turn around, and in that flat, steady light, I saw what I hadn't seen on my way in. The photographs on the walls weren't all the same image. Only the ones near the door were hallway C. Further in, they changed. The hallway became a room. The room became a window. The window showed something outside. the same shape in each frame, standing at different distances, moving closer with each consecutive photograph, until the final layer, the one plastered directly to the cinder block, showed nothing but darkness and two pale points of light that I realized slowly were not lights. From the direction of the entrance, I heard footsteps begin. I did not move. That is the thing I cannot explain to the investigators, the thing that reads wrong in every account I've given. I heard those footsteps, and I did not run toward them, and I did not run away from them. I stood in Unit 119 with my flashlight aimed at a photograph of myself, and I waited. The way you wait when some part of you already knows what is coming and has decided that moving will not change it. The footsteps stopped outside the door. I turned around. The hallway was empty, but in the new stillness, I could see something I'd missed on the way in. A small rectangle of paper taped to the inside of the door at eye level. You've done this before. You will not remember. You never do. The agreement renews automatically. Check the back of the folder. My hands were shaking when I turned it over. A rental agreement, fresh paper, current date, my signature at the bottom in ink that was still wet. I don't know how long I stood there. The investigators say I called 911 at 4:47 a.m., which means I lost approximately 2.5 hours. The call recording is clean, my voice coherent, no flagged indicators. I told them everything: the photographs, the note, the image of the figure in the doorway. They found the unit empty when they arrived. Walls bare, chair gone, no folder, no phone, no photographs. The access log showed my keycard entry at 2:19 a.m. and my exit at 2:21 a.m. 2 minutes. The crying was officially attributed to a ventilation anomaly, since located and resolved. The signature on the 11-year-old agreement was never examined. Original file degraded, they said. Inconclusive. Case closed. I still work the night shift. Every morning, I decide to quit. Every evening, I drive to the facility and unlock the front door and sit at the terminal, and the shift begins. My supervisor calls me the most reliable employee he's ever had. I don't have an answer for that. I just nod, and the shift starts, and the hours pass the way they always pass, too quietly, and then not quietly enough. Last week, I found a photograph in my jacket pocket. Me, at the terminal, timestamp printed on the back, 3 hours before my shift started. I've looked at it every night since, and each time I find something I hadn't noticed before. The angle, the window behind me, the darkness outside the glass, pressed flat against the glass like it has weight. There is something in the darkness outside the window. The photograph isn't sharp enough to name it, but last night I brought it close to the light and looked at it for a long time and understood what I was seeing. It isn't watching me. It's watching the screen. Whatever is standing in the dark outside that window is not interested in the person at the terminal. It's reading. It's been reading for a while. And I don't know what was on that screen the night the photograph was taken, but I know what's on a screen right now. I wrote this because the note told me to. I don't know who the note was written for.